Hey everyone, I just want to give my views on the whole Luis Suarez saga. I know people are perhaps a bit fed up with it, but it's still one of the biggest stories out there at this moment in time surrounding Liverpool Football Club. We're in the media everywhere. For me, as of now, Arsenal have put in two pathetic bids of £30 million and £40 million and £1, believing that they are activating some sort of release clause, to trigger a release clause that Suarez then has to be allowed to speak with them. As has been shown by Liverpool so far, there clearly is no such clause, only to inform Suarez of the bid. And I read earlier by BBC journalist David Ornstein that Arsenal were not prepared to go anything above £50 million for him. Well, if that's the case, then they should shut up talking about Luis Suarez. Arsene Wenger in particular, saying that he's going to be amicable towards Liverpool. He's going to show the club respect. But talking about Luis Suarez, for me, is not showing the club a great deal of respect. And if they're not prepared to pay the money, they clearly can't afford him. They're not going to get him. It's as simple as that. For me, Luis Suarez, if they're going to sell him to Arsenal, which they don't want to a top club, another rival, they're talking 60 million plus, 65 million plus. When you look at the likes of Gareth Bale, is he worth really 85 million? If he's worth 85 million plus, then, Luis Suarez is comfortably worth 70 million plus. Luis Suarez is a fantastic footballer. He really is. We know that he's a great footballer. We've seen the goals he's scored, his trickery. He's a sensational footballer. However, this whole saga, for me, smacks of the whole Fernando Torres saga all over again. There seems to be no loyalty, amongst, without being stereotypical, without, I don't want to cause offence or anything, but just among players that have come from overseas clubs, whether it be from La Liga and so on, this doesn't seem to be a great deal of loyalty. Now, I'm not talking about everybody, because we have had loyalty from overseas players before, in terms of, Sami Hyypiä, in particular, Xabi Alonso is a fantastic player for us. But, in terms of strikers lately, Luis Suarez, Fernando Torres, they just, want to jump ship. Javier Mascherano, was a disgrace in the way that he left us for Barcelona. It was the whole manner in which he approached it. It's unacceptable for me. I'm a bit fed up with it. That makes me appreciate the likes of Steven Gerrard all that much more, knowing that he's been loyal to us for 15 years. He's played at Liverpool throughout his career. For me, is a true role model. In terms of my biggest concern here is that we're not going to sell him until the end of the season. Until the end of the transfer window. Now, if we don't sell him till the end of the transfer window, then we may end up panic buying again, in the same way that we did with Andy Carroll when we sold Fernando Torres, which is the last thing that we want. But that said, having clearly lined up, Costa, so having clearly lined up Diego Costa, with the 21.8 million bid, we clearly have, options in terms of looking at strikers. So it's not like we're not in the window for a player of, sort of 20 goal calibre. For me, Luis Suarez is arguably too controversial. He's twice bitten players now. Once whilst playing for Uruguay against Ghana, and then also when he bit Branislav Ivanovic, for Chelsea. It's twice. So, you'd think you'd learn after doing it once. And then, he's also had a racial ban. What I want to say is that Liverpool have stuck by him, every single time. Kenny Dalglish backed him to the hilt. Brendan Rodgers has backed him. Liverpool have put their reputation on the line. He has arguably damaged Liverpool's reputation with the media, in terms of club personnel. It's just, is it too much hassle at the end of the day? He's banned for the first 6 games of the season. So should we just cut our losses and get rid? I was also noticing Comolli earlier. Damien Comolli apparently spoke to a British journalist, British BBC journalists, and he said that there was a clause, but there was a release clause and Liverpool were making a messy deal of it. But what on earth does he know? Luis Suarez signed a new contract last year after Damien Comolli had been sacked. I think this is just his sort of bitter way of having a go. Basically, sort of having to go back because he was fired by Liverpool. He at the end of the day paid the likes of 20 million for Stuart Downing. He's talking nonsense. And then he also went on to say that Luis Suarez will be attracted to the fact that Arsene Wenger has taken strikers up a gear, like, you know, Thierry Henry, players like that, he said, Nicolas Anelka had taken them up a gear. But, you know, is he forgetting the likes of Andrei Arshavin? You know, Nicholas Bentner, he's not taken them up a gear. And, you know, at the end of the day, Suarez is a lot better a player now. He's been at Liverpool than he was at Ajax, and he was a great player at Ajax, but he is a lot better here. So I think that's rubbish. David Kamoli should just keep his mouth shut. Other people, you know, even Brendan Rodgers said he doesn't understand why he'd go to Arsenal. That was reported by the Mirror. You know, not the most reliable of sources, but it was still reported. Ian Wright, you know, said that it would be silly to go to, you know, a former gunner said that it would be silly to go to Arsenal. So he said that Arsenal are not in a position for challenging, you know, for sort of Champions League titles and so on. And, you know, likewise with Harry Redknapp, who said that it'd be a sideways step, yeah, for Luis Suarez. He said that today. It'd be a sideways step if he went and moved to Arsenal, because it's not like Arsenal are going to win the Champions League. You know, and also the key point that Harry Redknapp made, I'm not the hugest fan of Harry Redknapp, but the key point he made was that Luis Suarez owes Liverpool, and I actually think he does. He owes us a great deal, you know. He owes us another season because we have stuck by him throughout. You know, we stuck by him through all the controversy, where the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson were saying that Luis Suarez should never play for Liverpool again. We've stuck by him, we've given him our support, and he should repay that for the fans. My opinion. My overall opinion, Luis Suarez, should he stay or should he go? For me, I still rate him, you know, very, very highly. You know, at the end of the day, you can't get away from the fact that he's in the top 5 players in the world at the moment. But no player is bigger than the football club, and that is a fact. You know, no player is bigger than the football club. So if he wants to go, you know, and a club are happy to pay 60 million plus, preferably a Spanish club, Real Madrid and so on, if they're happy to pay 60 million plus, 65 million plus, then I would happily drive him, you know, to the airport myself. Because at the end of the day, I'm sick of players now that seem to be coming to Anfield with the idea that they are bigger than the football club when they are not. No player is bigger than the football club. So for me, I would like him to stay. I do, you know, I really like Luis Suarez. He's a fantastic player. But if his heart is elsewhere, then he can go. I'm interested in all your views. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Please tell me, should Luis Suarez stay or should he go?